Hello. Good morning, you guys. We're ready, you guys.
Okay, we're starting.
Here we go. We're ready.
What's for
Okay.
dinner?
They're not asking me. They're just eating. It looks like about 4 different things. Thai food. Okay. Roughly, quickly, where our cataloging is right now and what the needs for cataloging is. So I've taught since my time at Diamond Mountain. I've taught for about, I don't know. DCI, for example, I've taught for 17 years. And in DCI, we don't talk about religion because it's illegal where we do DCI mostly. So we don't talk about religious subjects. We don't talk about Buddhism. And for 17 years, we've kept very careful. And we've had many hard times, but we got through them. And they were very hard. And you don't know the whole story. But it was very hard. For me personally, it was quite hard. But we got through them. And so we're legal. My book just sold 35,000 copies in 2 weeks since it's been out in the new edition of the Diamond Cutter Business Book, which is approved by the government of China. And 35,000 copies bought in the first 2 weeks. It's here. Yeah. Ta-da. And I got to thank Stanley and Xiaoping for, it took many years of being very careful and being very legal. It took many years of hard work to get this book out. So basically, I think the time has come in my life, given my health situation, that I thought I would start teaching some Diamond Way to people. And I have to be very careful how I teach Diamond Way. So I have divided it into 8 different courses. So depending on which of the worldview organizations you are a member of, you will get a completely different Diamond Way that will fit your organization. So if you're in YSI, it'll be more related to the Mahasiddhas, for example, and you'll get your Diamond Way this way. If you are a translator, they've already entered Diamond Way translation course, which is specific only to the translators, and they're learning to read handwritten manuscripts, which is very difficult. And then if you're in, if you're in 5 houses, you might get the original Diamond Mountain Diamond Way series, which is very detailed and very long, and doesn't appeal to everybody, and which is difficult for many people. And then if you're in DCI or SCIM, you will get a carefully crafted version of the advanced levels in which the Diamond Way ideas are presented in a non-religious way. And it's very careful. It's taken many years of preparation, and we're ready to go there. All of that work to craft 8 different versions of Diamond Way, which are safe for everyone and comfortable for different people, depends on a healthy database. So we need to draw from many, many sources for different groups. And the database was kind of the version that I worked on until my 3-year retreat, 1999, late 99. It includes, 15,000 books or something like that, or more. But I cataloged them each individually, one by one. many were done waiting in the bus line at the Port Authority. So that's a holy place. Okay? And late at night, the buses don't come very often. So I would sit down in the line and work on the cataloging in like 10 p.m. something. And then after that, because I was in retreat, I didn't have time to catalog that much. But interestingly, we went on finding new texts that we needed, and then we went on inputting them for specific projects we had to do. But those books that were input did not get into the database because they weren't cataloged. They got a temporary ID number, and then they didn't go into the database as it's available to the public. So slowly over the last 26 years, we have fallen 15,000 books behind roughly in putting books into the database, which is okay for my private use. I know where the books are on my computer, but it's not fair to the future generations. You know, they won't get them. So I felt like we should pause. We could have a special class every week to catalog books, okay? And there's many places we could start. There's 10 places we could start this process. And I want to show you one of the places where I'd like to start. And I know this class is not interesting for everybody, but if there are people who are attracted to this work, we need help, and we need a team. And there's many things you can do. There's a lot of grunt work here. I personally feel like it's an honor to be involved in the creation of the Kangyo or the Tengyo. I feel like I'm up for it. You ask me to count pages or something, I'm there, because I just want to make it happen. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen. This is a book that we just finished. Where is that? Where are you? Let me see. Let's do this. Yeah, this is a book that we just finished. It's by Jetsun Rendawa, who was Jetsun Kalpa's teacher. And he wrote a commentary to one of Nagarjuna's 2 letters to King. And it's a beautiful commentary. And my teacher turned me on to it, and we studied it for quite a while. And so we finished translating it, and recently, and it went to editing, which right now, Anatol's editing it right now. You're almost done. He's done. We're working, but there's kind of a final detail that we have to do. There's a kind of a final detail that we have to do with these books, is to organize the bibliography, which means the list of books that we used in the translation. And that's, when I do my pass through the translation, I don't attempt to do the dirty work of the bibliography. I just sketch it out, and then the editors do the work. I want to show you a bibliography, what they look like. Let's see. Yeah, here's a typical bibliography, okay? And this is what they look like in the books, okay? And these are, you see each book in the bibliography has an ID number. This book is a very famous history book, one of the most famous history books in Buddhism, and it was translated by a very famous Russian scholar who I studied when I was finishing my degree at Princeton. His name is Nikolai Rerich, and Yuri Rerich is the son, which is George. And so this book has a ACIP or a ALL identification number, which is SP 25006, okay? So when I'm translating for the last 26 years, oftentimes I need to use a source which is not in our database yet. So I write Nick, I wrote Nick this morning with a list of books. I write Nick, I need these books. And then he goes to online sources of scans of woodblocks. And he gets the woodblocks and he sends them to our input centers. And then the input centers type them in. And then they come back to me in a rough, Nick applies a number, a catalog number, to the books. And then I use them. And then I credit them in the bibliography, okay? Which means there's books running around with a catalog number that are not in the catalog, okay? They got their own ID number, but no one put them in the database because that's a long, difficult process that I don't trust anyone to do. That's where you walk into the library and you put the book on the right shelf. And this library, you can think of it as being about the size of New York. In fact, I once wrote an essay about it. And that's why I did the Diamond Cutter Business book, because the largest publisher in the US saw the essay and asked me to write a book. And that essay turned the 5 boroughs of Manhattan into a catalog. And then you were a bird and you could fly to each borough and check books, which showed up on the side of skyscrapers when you asked. And anyway, it's cool. No one's made it yet, but it's there. The information is there. It's a virtual catalog, virtual reality catalog. And you have an avatar and you walk through the catalog. You fly through the catalog. You're a bird, actually. And it's kind of beautiful. But anyway, so we have this huge task of 26 years. We've been assigning ID numbers to books and not putting them in the actual database because I didn't have time to put them in the right place. And I didn't trust anybody else to do it. If you put a book in the wrong place, if your library is as big as New York City with the 5 boroughs, and you even put it in the wrong borough, which means you put it on the wrong shelf in a library of 5 million books or something. Princeton has 5 million in the main library. Suppose you put it in the wrong shelf, it will be lost forever. No one will ever find it. And if you put a book in the wrong place in our database, no one will ever find it, ever. And so it's a very grave responsibility, but I'm getting to a certain age where I don't have time to delay anymore. So what we have to do is go back through all of these books we translated in the last 26 years. We have to go through all the bibliographies, and we have to identify the books that didn't get into the database. So I could do that manually. You know, I could go through each bibliography. The bibliographies typically in one book, they have 100 books in the bibliography, something, say, in English, West Chinese, and Sanskrit. I could go through, we've done about 20 books, can I say? About 20 major books. And so I would have to go through each bibliography and figure out which book didn't make it into the database. So, when I was in Kyoto, Jamie Plant and his partner Bo visited me. We had dinner together. We had a very beautiful dinner, and then they came to my room. And they are doing extraordinary work on the knowledge base. They have a website called The Knowledge Base, and they have, I think, around 15,000 talks by Geshe Michael, video and written, free. They're free. Anybody can go use them. And they've developed very sophisticated tools for cataloging that material. So you say, when did Geshe-la mention fish? in Lam Rim, and you can find it on their website. They've developed the tools, and Bo has tied it all into the native language, and then tied that into the native script. So if you look up fish in any Lam Rim teaching, it'll take you to the day I taught it fish, and you can hear me talk about fish by pushing a button, you see. And then they've done all this with AI. So they've worked really hard on the AI, and they can identify things. So I gave Jamie Plant a task. I said, I can go manually through all these bibliographies and find the books that never made it into the database. But I have a feeling an AI could do it faster, which means it would list all the books in the database, and then it would list all the books in the bibliography, and it would cut out all duplicates. And what results is the books we have to catalog. And that should be first priority of this effort to catalog everything, because it's there already. It's all done. The numbers are there. We just have to put it in the right place. So I asked Jamie if he'd take a shot at it, and he's going to present his results this evening. And he said it would take about 15, 20 minutes, but you're welcome to take the whole class, Jamie, if you prefer. I don't see you, and I don't know how to turn it over to you.
Usually you can stop your sharing.
Stop my sharing. Okay. Stop. Okay.
Go to,
Go to.
it should be there.
I don't see Jamie.
You don't see him?
Do you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Where are you? Where art thou, Romeo?
Yeah.
It's probably better if you don't see me.
Oh, got it.
There you go.
There.
Okay, Jamie, can I turn it over to you?
You can turn it over to me, but I didn't know I
Okay.
was going to present those findings.
I know.
You just wanted me to show the tool in general.
Oh, I'd like you to just share anything you'd like to share about your work. And I think it'd be
I'll wing
interesting
it.
to show people how you derived the books that got an ID number but didn't get into the catalog.
Okay.
And I'd like to turn myself off. Let me see. Do I just cut my video? Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I can?
Just, yeah, push the button. Yeah.
Okay. But could I
Audio if you want to.
unpin myself? Remove spotlight. Okay, Jamie, go. Hi, Bo.
Yes, I have to share the screen here. Let's see.
Jamie, by the way, maybe you can
Yeah.
blur your background.
Blur your
Maybe.
background, Jamie.
Yeah, it's too colorful.
Blur your background, please.
Okay. Let me see.
Take
Just bear with me a minute. Let me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better. We can still see your handsome face.
Let me try to share my screen here.
I'll open so they can see you.
Okay. I was gonna sleep. Take your time, Jamie. Do it.
Can you see the screen, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
cool.
looks good.
Yeah, so as Geshe mentioned, as many of you know, we have this website up for many years now, the Knowledge Base, which has teachings by Geshe Michael. I don't know the exact number, but there's many, many audio and video teachings. So that's already an amazing resource to go and search for what you want to see, and basically almost everything that he's taught in relation to not diamond cutter things, but in relation to Buddhist stuff, it's up there. So you can watch the video, you can listen to the audio, you can see the readings and the answer keys, and so that's all up there. One of the huge issues with that, and what I always wanted to do, is that while everything's up there, most things are locked in audio recordings or video recordings. Most of those classes are over an hour long, hour and a half long classes. So you're talking about thousands and thousands and millions maybe of different ideas that are just locked in there that you can't really access. So what I always wanted to do was to take all of that audio and video and then create transcripts of all of those things. But traditionally, that was it's a huge undertaking if you're going to do all of those things manually. So, recently within the last year, a lot of AI tools have come online, which allowed you to do a lot of technology now allows you to do exactly that, of take an audio recording and create a pretty good transcript from it. So that's what we did for maybe 4,000 or 5,000 classes. We put it through the AI, and now we have transcripts for everything. So that totally unlocks all of those ideas that were locked in all of those courses. So now you can search for anything and find it very, very quickly. In the same way, so this was the original problem, I think, Geshe, that you were trying to solve with the ACIP database, is traditionally you had these woodblock prints that were on a shelf. And if you wanted to go look up a topic, you had to know exactly which text to pull off the shelf and open it up and try to find that idea within that text. So ACIP unlocked all of that information by typing in all of those and allowing them to become searchable. So it's sort of the same parallel here with what we're doing, is we're unlocking all of this video and audio information, and now everything can be searched and then linked in many, many different ways. So let me sort of show you what we're coming up with. And just as a disclaimer, at the beginning, this is really just my development workshop that I'm working in now, to try to build different tools and try to have ideas and try to connect things. This is not a live website.
Okay.
This is the format that it's in, the styling that it's in. It's just my working platform to work with ideas. And then once I find different tools that I've created, then I'm gonna, then separate those tools out and publish those tools live. So that's just a disclaimer before we begin, that whatever you see here is just really rough. It's raw. It's working. You might see bugs. Things are not perfect, but just to give you an idea of what we're working on and what's going to be possible. So I don't know. Can you see this screen up here?
You did look up fish. That was really cute.
Yes.
Yeah, so I looked up fish.
Yeah. All right. I didn't think there was anything there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
A couple of fishes there.
So basically, I ran through creating transcripts for all of these classes. And what it's done is it's creating a database of that. So they're in small sections called chunks. So basically, every class is split up into, 2-minute chunks or something like that. And then when you search, that's what I'm hitting here. I'm hitting like this 2-minute section of this class where fish was mentioned. So you can scroll through and you can see all of these things here.
A lot of fishes.
Lots of fish.
Weird fishes.
Thank you.
Let me show you something. Search for Pamakarumche.
Maybe
Yeah.
Chunky Deva or something.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Or maybe like 4 powers.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to show you something specifically. So let's see.
Okay.
All right, here. Let me try to find one that has the full information here. Bear with me. Let's see.
Okay, take your time. We have time.
All right, for example, so I search for Lamrim. I hit this part of the transcript here. So if this looks interesting to me, I can look over to the right here and you see there's a outline. This is basically a full outline of the entire class. So what I'm hitting in the search is like a 2-minute section of the class. But if I'm interested, where did this come from? Then I can look over here and I can see the full outline of this entire class. So then it's highlighting that this search found this section of the class, which is in this larger section of the class here. So what I can do in this outline is I can click on any of these,
Okay.
and it's all linked
So
to
you
the,
can
everything
use
is
it
time
for
linked. So it's all linked to
different
the
practices.
audio for that exact section.
in the prayers that you do.
Now, if I want to go even deeper, I can click expand here. And so you'll see I have all these different levels now. So this is you can see there's the transcript level here, which is the lowest level, and that's what I'm hitting here. So you can click on any of these and you can play any of these sections of the class. If I want to go up a higher level, at the summary level, this is what I'm seeing here. So then it immediately finds the larger section of the class that I'm in. And this is a summary that we created with AI for all of these classes. So you see it gives it a title for this section, and it gives it'll give an overview of this section. It'll also create tags, so then we can start connecting things in that way. So I can play this section. Now I also linked the source text for this because this is the Lam Rim course, so we have the source text for the Gift of Liberation. So if I click the next tab, it's going to scroll to exactly the folio that's being discussed at that point in the class. So I can see that here. And then another level is we're creating outlines, the Tibetan outlines. So this is a big thing that Bo's working on, like very diligently, going through, listening to each class of the Lam Rim. Every time Geshe mentions, reads from the root text, she's marking that exact time where he's mentioning that in the class. Then what we can do is, because we have exact times for all of this, then we can start linking it all together. So then you have to remember what we did here. So we did a keyword search. We hit in a 2-minute section of a class. We wanted to get some more information. So we opened up the view more. Then we could see the transcript level. Then we saw a detailed summary. And everything is connected at that exact point of the class that we originally hit in the search. So now what we're seeing is the closest time he mentioned a line of Tibetan to where we hit that original search. Then I can just click from here and I can hear.
Everything I'm telling you so far is how to develop. That's basically the thing. Oh, when Sapa Yapse so Genden Kagyu Komanam Kache Niru Mikopa Sechi Basa.
So all of this is here. Bo has done 14 courses so far. And so she's making her way through slowly. So all the video is also linked here.
Drink coffee at the stop.
So we don't have video for these original ones, but if there was video, it would be all linked to the exact time here. So you can see how this is really, really powerful, and you can do advanced query type searches too if you're looking for exact phrase. If you're looking for proximity searching, so where this word exists in proximity to other words, you can exclude terms. You can use, you can search for any terms that would show up in a search, comma separated. So all of these things. So that's just one part of it. The idea is that some people will be power users of this who will start to clean up these transcripts, because I had mentioned before that we used AI to do the transcripts, and and it's really good, but it's about, some things need to be cleaned up. It's about 85% good. So if you do have, my idea is that if you have authorization to be an editor, then you could do searching like this and find a section, but you can click edit here. And then you're going to get this section of the class from the transcript. You can click here because then the exact section will be linked in the audio.
Stirring coffee at the Starbucks for the old lady.
So you can hear, and if it doesn't match what he actually said, you can go in and you can make an edit and you can submit that edit for review. Then someone who's an admin can go and make sure that your correction was correct and click save, and then the data is going to be updated in this way. So my original idea was to create a tool that you can still use to do research and do study and search, but at the same time, you can also start to clean up that data and make it perfect. And then once all of this is really perfect, then we can really start creating powerful AI tools. Because once all those transcripts are very clean, then you can create vector databases and you can create all of these AI tools with this information. So I don't know. So that's just one part of it. I have a whole other section, which I started playing with all of the ACIP database and the original source texts, which are very, very cool. So for example, this is a way that you can search the ACIP database. So I made a way that you can search and you can browse also. So if you don't want to search, if you just want to go through and browse, find a text, click on that text, and it's going to open up here so you can read it. Another thing that I've done is I had this idea when I was in Japan last time that I could take all of Geshe-la's existing translations and all the mixed nut translations, and I can start to use AI tools because everything has a section of ACIP text followed by his actual translation underneath. So I took all of the existing translations that were in that format, then I parsed them out. So you have chunks of Tibetan with the English corresponding translation. Then I passed that to an AI, and then it made all of the connections. So this Tibetan word or this Tibetan phrase is translated in this particular way. And then I created a glossary based on that. So I have 30,000 entries in my glossary now from going through that information. I worked on that steadily since I got back from Japan. And now we have this massive database that translators can start to use. But one of the things that you can also do with that, I realized, is if you have this glossary, you can, so for example, I searched the ACIP database and now I bring up this text. What I can do now is click on glossary tool here. And it's going to use that glossary information that I created, and it's going to see how much of the glossary is, how much of the text is covered by the glossary. So I got 98% glossary covered.
Too big.
Oh, I see. He's showing.
Which is pretty cool. So then I can click on anything inside of the text, and it's going to bring this up for me here. And then I can start to see information about that word or that term or that phrase. I tried to link Sanskrit everything. So every Tibetan word or term has a Sanskrit equivalent. That needs a lot more fine tuning, but I can show you more about how I'm doing that too. It'll do the components. So if it's a phrase, it'll show you, like, for example, here. But what I did is you can see, I can do, for example, view in teaching context. So if you're a translator and you're wanting to use these glossaries information, it's one thing to pull up, like I showed, and see how it's been translated. But what if you want to see actual examples about how Geshe has translated that term in his actual translations? So I can do that here. And then it's going to show me. This is, for example, from Sunlight on the Path to Freedom. So what I did is I ran all your Mixed Nuts books through here. So I have that all, they're all in the glossary now. So if I want to see this term, how it was actually translated, it highlights the Tibetan term. Then it highlights the corresponding English translation in an example here. So that's just one way to start to use that glossary. If you're like me and your Tibetan skills are like terrible, what I also realized is by creating that glossary, you can start to do bi-directional search or even tri-directional because you have all the linkings between the Tibetan, the English, and the Sanskrit. So, for example, if I want to just search the ACIP database, but my Tibetan is terrible, I can switch to English mode and I can put in, for example, Path of Seeing, and then it's going to give me, I can search in English, and then it's going to do the search in Tibetan because I can see the corresponding Tibetan word for this. So I'll click on this, for example. Click search, it's gonna search the database.
Yikes.
Yeah, I gotta make this so it shows results quicker. But anyway, so I see my hit here. I can then view the text. And then it's gonna immediately scroll to the first hit that I got there. And then because I got this one I got 98% glossary coverage. So I designed this so what it's doing is it's looking for the longest match first from the glossary, and then it goes down from there. So if it searches for the longest match, then it goes down and down and down to smaller components. But then I can pull this up. So that's pretty cool.
Duh.
So I can also search Mongolia, library in Mongolia as well, same way, and have full glossary coverage there too in the same way. Pull up a text here. All the scans are linked to, so if you want to go in scan mode, you can click this. And what you see is the scan on top and the text in the bottom. And I can turn glossary on here too and use all those glossary tools. Yeah, so then, yeah, I can search TKB data in the same way. I created a tool where I realized for the cataloging, it's useful to look some things up. Also, if you're a translator, it's useful to look things up in BRC. So I built a whole tool which is going to be native inside. So you don't have to leave. You can search inside of BDRC directly here. And then you can start to integrate the other tools that we're building here on top of that. So while BDRC data is great by itself, if you start to integrate it into this app and these tools, you can start to layer over your different things that you're building. Like, for example, the glossary. I can pull something up in BDRC. If it has an e-text available, I can lay my glossary on top of that and start to use that. Then I realized, since we have this great glossary, one of the things you can do with it is you can just make a tool just to search the glossary directly. So then I have 3 different modes. So I created a whole separate glossary of just the titles. So all of the titles, the original Tibetan titles, and then their corresponding English translations, which is going to be very useful for the cataloging. So if you want to know how a title was translated in the past, so you can keep it consistent, then you could just search the title glossary, title database, and see that, for example. Or you can search the master, which is everything, or you can just search in Sanskrit. So you could, and then verified Sanskrit means I noticed that a lot of the mixed nuts, or a few of the mixed nuts text, had Sanskrit as well. So you had triads of Tibetan, Sanskrit, and English. So then I linked all of those. So then you can see actual examples of Geshe Michael translated this Tibetan term, which linked it to the Sanskrit term, which was linked to the English, for example. But so you can search in both English and Tibetan, like I showed you earlier. So, all right, so I'll show you, let's look up the Buddha. I can see all these hits here. As I'm typing in, it's dynamic, so it's showing me results immediately. So, so I click on this. Then I can see, okay, Tibetan, Chum Today, English, Conquer, Sanskrit, Bhagavan. Then it'll give me all of the alternative translations. So this was also translated in all of these different ways. I see Sanskrit alternatives here. And now the cool thing is I'm actually seeing exact examples. So how was this term actually translated in a text? I can put it here. This is all karma. Yeah. So this is really, I think this is going to be powerful for the translators. Start to do research. This one has Sanskrit. See, so you can see the Sanskrit term is highlighted, the Tibetan term is highlighted. I had it working, it's not working at the moment. Also, the English was highlighted as well. But then I had this idea 2 days ago.
Whoa, just one, right?
Yeah, this is constant. Yeah. But the cool thing is that, you know, all of these AI tools are available now, that if you have a cool idea, you can start to spin stuff up really, really quickly. And you can make, you know, I had this idea. This is just an example. I had this idea, oh, Bo's Tibetan outlines, where she's going through line by line and she's marking exactly where Geshe is giving a teaching on that line of Tibetan from the entire Lamrim. So I said, we can incorporate this into our glossary as well. So you can search the glossary, you can see a boring sort of dictionary type interface where you can see how the Tibetan was translated to English and what the corresponding Sanskrit is. But then cooler is that you can see the exact examples from actual translations. But I thought, why don't we have an oral lineage part of this glossary as well? Because we have line by line. So then I built that yesterday. So it went through and matched in the same way. So it took all of those lines of Tibetan, matched it to the times we had in all of the teachings, and then it did the longest match first, right? The same way. So it searched the entire glossary for finding all of the matches. And so this was our thing, right? Chumdine. So we scroll down. And now I can see this line from the Lamrim, and I can click it. And I can hear Geshe talking about it.
Dakla, changing malopa. It teaches those things. Changing malopa. Changing malopa means.
So what I started to realize by listening to all of these lines of Tibetan, for example, is that Geshe just goes through and he gives like amazing commentary about all of the words, all of the Tibetan words, how he learned it from his own teacher. And then so we're going to have this beautiful way to connect that rich oral lineage to all of these tools where, you know, if you're a translator, if you're just a student and you want to go deeper in your studies, my idea with all of this is then to create this portal where you can come in and you can see all of the information from the knowledge base. Then you can link it back throughout the whole lineage, all the way back to the Buddha. So you can see all the source texts. You can see the Tibetan lineage, and then everything is connected down to the second of each teaching, right? So I can know exactly what Geshe mentioned something. I can find it immediately. I can listen to it. I can watch on video that exact part where he's giving that teaching. But then I can start to draw in all of these connections where it starts to connect to everything else. And this is going to be a really powerful tool, I think, as we build this more and more to start creating the foundation to create some really powerful actual AI tools on top of this. So I don't know. So that's what some of the things I have so far. I started to play around with doing a catalog tool
Yeah.
where it would, where you could try to go through and start to catalog text where it'll try to recognize what the title is from the title glossary, then show you can see how it was translated in the past, and then you could put in your translation here at the bottom. But I think that we could build this more and more where it'll find similar text inside of the ACIP catalog. One of the things that I thought would be useful, and I don't know how practical it would be, but just something to think about. If I could create a really user-friendly tool that Geshe could catalog a lot of these texts, then he could put it into the right shelf on the in the library. Like this, for example. Where do I want to assign this? I can find out exactly the location, and he would click it there. It goes on this shelf. But then maybe he could give his short reason why he did that. And then it starts to, then you can create sort of a machine learning, or the system would start to learn like why he's made that decision for this text. Then we could start to collect that information, and we could use that in a way which is going to, not that the tool would do the cataloging automatically or an AI would do it automatically, but can we make tools which would make a cataloger's job more informed and easier? And it would start to learn over time that maybe, and then it would give you suggestion. Here's similar text to this. Maybe you might consider putting it in this category for this reason. It's still the choice of the cataloger, but we could start to develop tools like this. You wanted me to talk. This is not at all what you wanted me to talk about in the beginning.
No, but
Yeah.
no, it's exactly what I'd like you to talk about. We have about 10 minutes or something. I don't know if
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about how you isolated the books and the bibliographies that are not in the catalog yet.
Yeah, let me try to,
Okay.
hold on a second. Let me try to share more than my browser. Where do I do that? Let's see. It's a tech guy that can't figure out how to use Zoom. Let's see.
Jamie, you can stop sharing.
Stop sharing.
Yes. Stop it right now and then start again and choose the whole desktop if you want.
Oh, thank you, Stanley. Let's see. Where is that? Stop sharing.
Now
You
start
did
again.
already. You did
Oh,
already.
you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Share desktop. Okay. All right, cool. Here's that. I don't know. I mean, I just
Yeah,
thought
this is what I was hoping you could go through. We
Yeah.
have about 10 minutes, and I think it'll just take about 10 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Geshe sort of threw this out in the last cataloging class that, this would be a good place to start, right? Is that we have all of these uncatalogued texts. Where do you even begin? So he threw out this idea of let's try to take all of the existing bibliographies from the current Mixnux texts, and let's find out which of the uncatalogued, which of the texts in those bibliographies are actually in the catalog, and then which ones aren't. And that would be the ones that are not is a good place to start with. So I just ran with that idea, and this is sort of my experiment about trying to see, like, with these tools, what I could do. So I took the most up-to-date bibliography that I could find.
Well, and I have a newer one for you. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took that and I compared it against so I created a catalog of all of the text in the ACIP data currently that's in the current database. Different
Does that
format.
include? So we have 5,600 texts in the cataloged already.
Right.
Okay.
It's all the cataloged ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So then and then I fed the AI. So then I had my that's my two sources, right? You can see source document here. So I had the bibliography. I had a catalog of all the existing ACIP data. And I just ran it on that, and I had it try to identify the gaps. So all the ones that were not currently in the database. So it says total text in the catalog 5,606 actual text. Because sometimes in the data there's like a meta text file and a actual text. So if you count those just as text files, it's higher in some ways. So actual text in the database that I had was 5,601. So then it broke it down by Kangir, Tengir, and Sungboom. So then I wrote a Python script to compare the bibliography against the existing database. And here's the results. So yeah, let me see. So then we found, according to this, I don't know if it's correct or not. We have to confirm whether that's correct or not. And I can send this information out to all the translators for you to see. Basically organized everything into these different categories. So I tried to find ones that were in the uncatalogued data. So these are ones that were actually input, but not cataloged efficiently and in the database. So that's where you would want to start first, right? I mean, those are the ones that we already have. We already input them in ACIP. So I have a folder of all of those. Then it identified ones that were never, at least according to this, it may not be true, but never input by ACIP. And then it attempted to go try to find those. So the ones that we don't have input, where can we locate them? So then I found a lot of those different places. I found some in Mongolia. I found some in BDRC. So then I have a nice, neat, zipped up file with all the folders and all by category of where things are. All the ones from BDRC, the direct links to go to try to find it there, links to the scans, links to the e-text when available. Same thing for Mongolia. Same thing for the ones in the uncatalogued data. So I think this is a great place for us to start that cataloging path, right? It's first we need to go through and confirm whether the AI's findings were correct or not. Then we need to put them in baskets, I would imagine. So, this is correct, this is not correct. And the ones that are correct, then we can start using those as a basis to start cataloging with. So I don't know who I can share this with anyone who's interested, or certainly all the Who should I send it to, Geshe?
I would send it to me to start with, and
I already
then
sent it to you.
we can
So,
start. Well, if you have an update, then we could just start cataloging from this. Yeah,
all right.
yeah. And
It attempted also to go through, and part of this whole process of me working with the AI to produce this, some of the stuff in the uncatalogued data is unsplit data.
yeah,
So meaning the texts are all lumped together, right? So they're
Yeah.
not cut up into individual texts. So
Yeah.
it did attempt to try to locate those in the unsplit data, for example, and cut them out. So I already did an
Yeah.
attempt at that. You can see whether it was successful or not, but
good. Yeah, that first
so
book down below is the one we just finished translating.
cool.
Yeah,
So what after doing this, I realized I could do something similar with the Nartang Tengyur, and I've already gone through and done my first attempt at that. So
cool.
going through the entire Nartang Tengyur, splitting up locating all the individual texts,
Yeah,
showing the line start, the line end for each of those and which volume they're in. So then we can go cut all of those out and start to catalog those as well.
this is 3,000 books in 210 volumes. That the book ends and starts on the same line with no other marker. So he's developed a way to cut them out. Yeah, these are from ancient India.
I've already well underway on the Natan Tengyur to identify most of the texts within the uncut data. So
Yeah, I would share that with Oscar if you can.
oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of it is going to need manual review. So then I thought
Yeah.
that's a good place to focus his efforts of
yeah,
if we've already gone through and, when I realized that would have been, if you're doing that manually, it would have been a massive project that would have taken years. But if you can cut some of that manual labor out, then focus the manual labor on verifying what the AI found. You're going to save a lot of
He's
time.
about a quarter way through manually. Yeah,
Okay.
sitting there many hours. Yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe I can
Finished 1,000 books.
I'll share it with him and
Oscar.
it'll speed up his process for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure he'll appreciate that. I told him he wouldn't finish till he was an old man, but now he can be middle aged.
Yeah, well, there's lots of other stuff to do, right? So
I think we stopped there, Jamie.
yeah, that's about all I have at the
Yeah,
moment.
and it's also the time. So, thank you for your hard work. And I didn't frankly think it could be done until we met in Kyoto. So now this is at a point where it's very, very helpful. So
Yeah, and it's getting.
I think we all
every
appreciate.
every day there's new tools released and the technology just gets more advanced. So
We really
I think
appreciate.
it's our great seeds of working on this for so many
Yeah.
years. I think we're producing these
Yeah.
tools which will speed up this process.
I think it was also very cool that Bo took you out to the countryside to spend time with her family, and you have nothing else to do. And
I also think this is possibly the first time two suits have ever been worn in this village in the history.
yeah, I know. You had to go to the village and buy a suit, I know. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jamie. We'll see you next Monday. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Bo. Thanks for keeping him working. Yeah. And thank you for doing all the Lamrim. She did 14 years of Lamrim. She's cutting out. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. Grandpa's going home. Thank you, Jamie. Bye.
Yeah, we can just.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Bo.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.